everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's EJ Marino and this is About Last Night, the show where I talk about the movie I saw last night, and I'm excited for this episode because I'm talking about the new Disney film, A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time is the newest film from director Ava Duvernay, and I have to say I'm so excited that I like this movie because I love Ava as a director. Hell, not just a director, as an artist. She is one of the best minds in our industry, and to feel her message come across in this big budget Disney movie, I am so happy about that. Because usually when these indie directors go to Disney or Warner Brothers or Universal, their message and their soul as an artist is lost. Ava was not lost in this Disney machine. She took this huge $100 million movie. Yes, this movie's budget is $100 million. That is the biggest budget for a black female director in history. Like, we are making great progress in a short amount of time, and Ava is a great force of that. So she took this $100 million movie and told a message she wanted to. But this isn't just about the message, this is about the film itself. Because this film is really, really good. Like, I have some very minor complaints, but just minor stuff about this movie. That, like, things like, I wish this was a little longer or it was a little bit better paced because it was rushed. There's things that I was like, I want to live in this land a little bit more. Oh, we're going to this land? Oh, I want to do this. Oh, we're going here. Let me just fall in love with the scene I'm in before you go to another scene. So those are my very minor complaints for a movie that I thought was pretty great. So the first thing I want to compliment about this movie is the cinematography and the overall visuals in general. I think this is one of the most beautiful Disney movies in quite some time. I had such complaints with Black Panther, with the visuals and the cinematography and the VFX, where I was going into this movie nervous that I was gonna be like, Disney just let me down with the visuals in the last movie. How will they do here? Boy, was I happy to be proven wrong, because this movie is absolutely stunning. There were some like backlit silhouette shots that were so amazing. Like, they even remind me of like Blade Runner 2049. I mean, I'm not trying to compare those two movies, but there were shots, like very artistic shots in this movie that where I was like, whoa, this is a Disney movie? And you're trying to pull out like artistic visuals like that? And it's not just the cinematography, because that is strong, the camera work's strong, the actual like lighting is strong, but it's also the visual effects. This movie made me like lost in these worlds. Sometimes a little like too lost where I'm like, okay, where am I at? Oh, I'm back here. We're like, we got a little too visually heavy, but those are like tiny little complaints. With overall, these visuals were so strong and so like captivating. There's just those lands. You can tell when we're in a new land. You would have those scenes where Meg would wake up and I'd be like, I can just feel I'm in a different place because of the lighting, because of the visual effects. They allowed it to be a little bit more surreal and have this like not real feeling, and I think that's what helps our eyes not get so distracted. Like I said with Black Panther, like with my last review of that, I felt since we're trying to do a real world, you could kind of tell something's not off. Our eyes are telling us, this doesn't look right, it doesn't look real. Where a movie like A Wrinkle in Time, since this is high fantasy, this really surreal atmosphere, our eyes and our brain are trained to kind of like adjust to things and be like, things don't look right, but they're not supposed to look right because we're in this weird fantasy world. So I just am so happy that the visuals were so strong.
Instantaneously.
So you fall to space.
More likely wrinkle it.
So the first kid I want to talk about is Storm Reid as Meg Murray. She carries this movie, where I thought a lot of the adults would kind of carry a lot of like the heavy weight and a lot of the emotions. No, Storm Reid as Meg eats up all of this emotion and all of this plot. This movie is her film 100%. Like, we see most of her on screen, and most of the times she is all of the plot. I love Meg. Her performance made me want to read the book to see if I love Meg in the book as much as I love her in this movie. She is such a strong young woman, and like, I think she's gonna get some of those like Mary Sue complaints. Mary Sues are unfortunately women in movies or TV that people deem that they know everything, and how do they know that? There's no challenges. They're just too smart. They're just too good. An example is Rey from the new Star Wars movies. A lot of people consider her a Mary Sue, and I'm like, oh, she's just badass. Same thing with Meg in this movie. She's a smart girl and knows how to get out of situations or to handle a situation better than a lot of the people, especially like she's having to deal with Calvin in this movie, her like male counterpart, her little sidekick in this movie. He's not as smart as she is. He's not dumb, but Meg is a smart girl. She knows physics. Her dad is a scientist. She's listened to him. She's worked with him. So she knows what it's doing. And so I hope these like Mary Sue complaints do not attack her because she is so good. Storm in this movie, I just love her performance. I love her acting. I want to see her do more. And she's just absolutely gorgeous. It's so sad that her character just doesn't love the way she looks or who she is because I just was like, I adore you. Like, I want to be your best friend. That's what I love a character like this, where I look at her and I'm like, I want to hang out with you. But people I want to hang out with more is her little younger brother, Charles Wallace, the sassiest child, I think, in movie history. He was giving me side-eye. He was throwing shade. He got me to laugh out loud. And if you know me, I don't laugh out loud in movies too often. I'm like such a bitter old Betty. I'm just like sitting here taking notes, watching these movies. But that little dude made me laugh so loud. His character is so great. I adore that kid. I want to see more of him. Same thing with Calvin, who is played by Levi Miller. Levi Miller was so adorable. He was such a great actor in this film, and I think like he did get like eaten up by Storm Reid as Meg. She was so great that Calvin's character kind of got lost in the shuffle, but I adored him through those three like trio was such a great thing, and they handled this movie so well. Like that was a big task to handle all of this plot and all of this crazy going around them, all these visual effects, but I thought they did a great job. With any movie, there's going to be some small complaints, and with a movie like Wrinkle in Time, I don't have many, but I have two big ones that stand out for me. One is the pacing of this movie. Sometimes it felt like it was dragging on, and like I said, some scenes I felt like I wanted more of it. We were just rushing through to get to all these worlds and show us a new land and a new visual effect. I didn't get to live in one world long enough. I didn't get to fall in love with a scene long enough before we jump to another scene. So that's a big problem I had, that I needed a little bit more. Do I want to make the movie a little bit longer? No, 2 hours is great for this length of movie, but maybe like one less world. Maybe just focus a little bit more on one world, like I said, or one scene, one whole big segment so I can fall in love with, because there's not a lot of singular scenes that I love. Maybe there's like a shot that looked great, or like a line that stood out to me, but a scene, an actual scene of the movie, maybe the one with Zach Galifianakis was the longest and I think the most entertaining. But like I said, it took me a little bit to think of just that one. So like I said, the pacing was a little bit off, but such a small complaint in an otherwise really great movie. Oh, and one of my other complaints is these like really loud, obnoxious pop songs that would play just kind of randomly. It felt like I was watching a 50 Shades movie where I'm like, and here is the loud montage of scenes over this new like Rita Ora, Liam Payne song. Or here's this one like, is that Sade? Is that Sia? I just would get distracted by these like loud pop songs where I would love the score of this movie. There's a scene where they're like dribbling a basketball in their weird like dark world, and you're like, this doesn't feel weird, and the basketballs are going to like the score, and I felt like intense, and it was giving me some suspense. But then like the scene after is this loud pop song again, and I'm like, oh, come on guys, like just get out of these. I know we want to sell that soundtrack, and I know little kids love these big loud pop songs, but for me as a viewer, it just kind of distracted me. Seriously though, those are my only complaints. That is so hard for me to not like really complain about a movie. Do I think this movie's perfect, or do I like really like want out and run and watch this again? No, this isn't my cup of tea, but for a movie that Disney sent me to, I have to say I had a great time with A Wrinkle in Time, and I would honestly recommend this for fans of the book, for Disney fans, or if anyone's looking for a great movie to take your daughter to. Yes, your daughter. This is a perfect movie for little girls. I wish this was a little less confusing because the plot is weird, so I think that younger demographic may not like fall in love with it because there's a lot to follow. But for that like 11 to like 16, this is perfect for them. I think little girls should look up to this movie as something that you could be this. Not just those girls on screen, but you could be like Ava Duvernay behind the camera and be breaking barriers in this industry. So this movie is honestly a really good time and just a pure, honest, good message that I think everyone needs right now. So that is it for this week's episode of About Last Night. Thank you so much for tuning into this, and I really love talking about this movie. I'm happy that I actually enjoyed a Disney movie for once. That is rare. I'm sometimes a stickler about these things, but I had a great time with this. So what did you think of this review? Did you like my feelings of A Wrinkle in Time? If you've seen it yet, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the movie. Also give me a thumbs up because that really matters and YouTube loves those thumbs up. If you did happen to like this video, also subscribe to my channel so you can see videos just like this every single week. And once again, thank you for tuning in to About Last Night.